according to our model estimates, the main longer-term consequence from the pandemic period is a reduction in potential output, but the imprint on R-star appears to be relatively modest. Importantly, there's no evidence that the era of very low natural rates of interest has ended. So these estimates indicate that R-star today is about where it was before the pandemic, but where is it headed in the future? Of course, this is impossible to know with any certainty, but we thought one way to gauge how forecasters perceive the future of R-star is to use forecast data to estimate our model. So figure 5 shows the HLW-based estimates of R-star in the US through the end of 2024. We have a crystal ball here, you know. It uses published data for the first quarter of 2023, which we didn't include in the earlier charts, but we do have GDP inflation data for the first quarter of 2023. And then it extends that data using the most recent blue chip forecast for inflation, GDP, and interest rates as proxies for data from the second quarter of this year through the fourth quarter of next year. So what you see here is really interesting, is the resulting estimate of R-star just on the data through the first quarter of this year is about 0.5%, and then subsequently falls to slightly below 0. So if, evidently the value of R-star implied by private forecasts, if anything, is even lower than today's estimate. Now time will tell whether this turns out to be the case or not. So let me conclude by sharing something I learned from Thomas and I hold dear. It's actually hidden in the last line of the abstract from our first published paper. Now it says, estimates of the natural rate of interest, however, are very imprecise and subject to real-time measurement error. Now to some people that might sound like a pretty negative statement about your research, but it's also what makes empirical research so exciting and so challenging. There's no one right answer. There's no single way to view the world. Empirical research is a process of continuous learning and adaptation fueled by perseverance. People come up with different approaches and we learn from all of them. So while we started with the problem of how to estimate R-star, it didn't end with that first board memo. Rather, it opened the door to new questions, which led to further challenges and even more research. And this is the legacy of Thomas Laubach and it's what brings us together today.